Hello everybody, welcome back, as ever, to Building Blocks. We program Minecraft mods live on camera and watch as things go horribly awry. So, the last few weeks we have been working heavily on abilities, and then the ability menus, so you can actually favor them and use them a bit easier. Then we also worked on species, so we now have groups of actual abilities that we can just give people along with creature types, which is a long-standing thing. And then we also did templates quite recently, and these templates still are commands only, but I am quite happy to announce that the species selection screen, which you first see when you actually log into a world, configurable, it can just be turned off, is feature complete. It is 100% done. So here we are, looking pretty nice. Let me just scooch myself a little bit out of the way there. So if you have custom creature types, they will show up at the bottom there. So types set target div to augmented construct is what I usually go with for that. So yep, there we are. And custom types lose with an explanation of what that means. So custom creature types may cause unintended effects if retained after choosing a species. This whole thing, by the way, is fully lang filed, so we can have that read whatever we like later on, depending on where you actually are. So, left and right, straight forwards. Clicking on the button actually selects the species. So in this case, say keep Asimar, and now I've got all of this stuff over here. These three specifically come from the Asimar. So, hooray for that. There's also X to exit without a species, which is more or less our shorthand for human. you get nothing special, but also you get nothing negative, so, you know, it's kind of nice. We've got the stars that indicate how potent a particular species is. Pretty much all of the player selectable ones are 1 star at most of them are 0. Troglodyte is an exception at 2. The Gasling diving interview. Yeah. There's Sugar Cube. There's Sugar Cube. Yeah, they're just hanging. I've added the health and armor readouts, so you can see what your base health will be as a player if you pick this particular species. That includes from your types as well as from the health ability, because we now have a strength and a health modifier ability, which is nice. And there's your natural armor right there. Health and natural armor are abilities that aren't shown here, simply because it reduces a bit of... It takes something out of what we have to display and just incorporate it there, so... Either way. I've also gone through and added a bunch more species here now to the defaults, so there's a bit more of a selection. There's still a fair few more I want to add, but I'll be doing that after we get today sorted out. And as ever, if you are in creative mode, you can see some special ones. So, the Archfey, for instance. It's important to note that damage reduction 10 basically means pretty much no mob can hurt you. And then Epic Resilience 20 means, yeah, you're not taking damage very often. You're not taking damage very often at all. Although in theory, the most powerful form of Epic Resilience would be 1 or 0. That's so many stars? Yeah, Archfey is a 10-star species. Like, whew. Not surprising. It doesn't really have much in the way of offense, but it is damn near unkillable. So, yep. And then we also have Green Dragon, which is basically Nifty. And with the addition of the health and strength abilities, got a bit more powerful. So Green Dragon's a 5-star, by popular vote in the Discord channel, this one is not selectable by players under normal circumstances, because it has 7 armor for free. That's 3.5 chest plates on your UI and 40 health, which is the same as an Enderman and is twice what a normal player has. Oh, and also they deal 4 damage with their bare hands. 2 hearts of damage with their bare hands. Pretty strong. Pretty strong. They can also breathe indefinitely underwater, and they can fly, albeit clumsily. And that's before we even get touch the breath weapon. So yeah, they're a 5-star. Nifty is a sturdy lad. Nifty is a very sturdy lad. Where's your Ender Dragon / Enderman hybrid option? Okay, so the dragon species are probably all going to be not player selectable, so you have to be in creative mode when the thing opens to see them. But Ender Dragon is right there. Some number of half dragons will probably be included, probably the same ones that come from the species, so half green dragon, half red dragon, half blue dragon, half ender dragon, that kind of thing. But yeah, for right now, that's what we got. But yeah, so this is all fully functional. If I select it with lose types, then I will be fully considered a air dragon here, or let's go with half orc. That's a pretty decent choice. So bloop. So types, list, targets, dev, defined as humanoid. So I lost my types, which is mostly that's mostly a thing for my patrons, because my patrons are allowed. Should orc be capitalized? It's just the way the formatting works on how that goes. If I wanted to actually like have that, there we are. If I wanted to actually have that be capitalized, I would need to like change how it just reads it from the file. That said, I can get it translatable, so not impossible. But yeah, the keep or lose types is mostly for my patrons, because my patrons get custom, like significant special custom types just written into the code here as the defaults. So if they boot up a new world, they always have those exact types when they start. But you can use commands to add them later, and then also to open the species select screen. So one way or another, it's a helpful like tool to have there. I think there was a question about why I don't currently have any construct species. I also don't have any ooze species, and there's good reasons for both of these things. We have the Necropolitans, who are undead. They're a 1-star. Constructs and oozes don't tend to occur as player races very much. Constructs are very powerful, for one thing, and oozes canonically have no intelligence, like very, very minimal at best. You're not gonna be seeing Rimuru coming out of various oddities, quite probably. At least not without some significant like backstory. But also, oozes are completely blind by default, and I know there is at least one person who's doing a challenge run of Minecraft using various oddities as an ooze, but it's not an experience that I would necessarily recommend. But just for demo, let's see, types, set, target, dev, 2, ooze. So this is what it looks like when you're blind. More or less. Blind sight lets me actually see everybody around me, as long as my head could see them anyways. Where is that button? There it is. What am I seeing over here? Oh, I'm seeing item frames. That's what that is. So, thankfully, one of the bug fixes that I did recently is that now tile entities are actually visible to blind to actual like blind vision. So we can actually see a like we can see that. We can also see the bed, which is nice, because that's kind of an important thing. I don't recall if slimes sleep, but... So, yeah, we are very happy to just... There we go. Custom types gone. I can see again in a hot minute. I should probably make an event for that, really, but it's fine. Okay, so... Our job today... Slimes still need to set their spawn. Also true, yes. Our job today is to add one of the... arguably one of the most significant features that distinguishes any player race and such. Because today we're going to be making size. So, if you didn't know, in Dungeons & Dragons, the baseline race, as it were, humans, are classed as medium-sized, which is to say that they are between 4 and 8 feet tall. Steve, in Minecraft, is actually just under 6 foot, so he's pretty smack dab in the middle there, which makes him a wonderful, wonderful little measure for us. The smallest size in D&D is shorter than the edge of this trapdoor. That is fine size. So literally less than 3 pixels. Like, it is ridiculously short. The tallest is, oh joy, something like 16 blocks. I can't recall exactly. 5'9"? 5.9 to be exact. He's not 5'9", but yeah. In fact, I wrote this down. Let me see. Okay, there we go. So Steve is 1.8 blocks tall. A colossal scale creature would be 16 times bigger. Hey, Booked. How you doing? So, about 32 blocks tall. Just under that. Under that. Pretty big. Pretty big. Ah, there we go. I did actually have a scale for this. So about 28.8 blocks tall in total. That's how big the scale's. Now... Huh? I mean, like, no service? What? Oh, that? No, I have things sorted. So, we're gonna be going, at least today, from that size to, if you laid down, you'd be almost the length of 2 chunks today. But, the curvature of it is exponential, which is to say, between fine and diminutive, the difference is twice, and it does that every single time. It doubles every single time. So the difference gets absurd very quickly. We're all familiar with exponential growth at this point, right? We all lived through 2020, I hope. No offense to any ghosts in chat. Exponential growth is pretty big. So I'm probably going to be changing up what the actual, like, delineations are, fine-tuning them a bit more, that kind of thing. They should still be meaningful, but they might not be as drastic and dramatic as the actual, like, 3.5e values. Anyways, you might have spotted this on the species select screen. We do already have an ability for this. I got through the grunt work. And here's all of the things. And right now this just does absolutely nothing. So today, we need to figure out how to get any part of this to actually work. And I think there's an event for this. There's entity size. I don't think there's an event for this. Or at least I think there is. Entity types event. No, that's fine. Size event, maybe? If not, we can probably use some mixin to see it. But, yeah, the way it used to be was that entities had a separate pair of float values, I think it is, for their width and their height. not their depth, which is just the same value as their width. So they only support cubics, unfortunately. We can't have we can't have fully irregular rectangular prisms. A pity, but because then horses would be significantly slimmer. Anyways, our goal today is bare minimum to get small working, which is about half the size of Steve. 0.9 of a block tall, so 90 centimeters or 900 millimeters. I've heard people say that centimeters doesn't exist anymore, that kind of thing, but yeah. Anyways, irrelevant, purely academic right now. Let's see. If we go to living entity, is it living entity? I don't recall. Somewhere in here. There we go. Entity size. So, somewhere this is retrieved. There's get size. Okay. And this is the next thing that we need to figure out, is poses. Before, your hitbox was the same, no matter if you, like, actually, like, squatted or were, like, flying, more or less, or whatever. Now, it actually changes based on what you're currently doing. So if you're sleeping, it's different. If you're sneaking, it's different, which is why your camera does the slightly off-putting transition, the sort of gradient, which is a little bit of interpolation there, which makes sense, but it's really disorienting if you've never seen that for like 10 years. So somewhere in here we need to change up what that is, I think. Let's see where that's called. Get bounding box, get eye height, recalculate. Okay, there is a forge hook in. That's good. Entity event dot size. Grand. That makes things much easier for us. So let's have a look at that real quick. So old size, new size. Oh, good. It stores that. That's very helpful. Fired whenever the pose changes, and in a few other hardcode. This is also fired in the entity constructor, therefore the entity subclass might not be fully initialized. Check entity is added to world or entity first update. If you change the player size, everyone set the eye height accordingly as well. Perfectly fine by me. Am I gonna get this done in the first hour and have to figure out what to do with the rest? I don't know. Let's see. Okay. So we have our size class up here. We have our multipliers to determine what's going to be happening here. Theoretically, we could make like a Minecraft giant fine-sized, and it would be still fairly big. Like, let me see. Minecraft giants are 12 blocks tall, which technically means they're, I think, lower end of colossal in terms of scaling. So let's see, 12 times 0.06 is what I currently have. Would be 0.72 blocks tall, so they'd still be massive, but compared to they'd be the exact same size compared to a fine-sized player, but they'd be less than half the size of Steve. Which is another thing. Once we get the actual bounding box working for this, we need to actually tag into rendering as well to rescale the model, or else they'll look the exact same size, but they'll be damn near impossible to hit. But we're presuming, for the most part, that this ability is only applied to players, essentially. Everything else could get weird. Okay. So let's see. Entity, event.size, event. Okay. And add the handler. So event plus. That's the right one. Am I correct? Probably not. What if you made the giant zombie the biggest size possible? Yeah. That would be, impressive. That would be a lot, and oh, I just hacked my formatting completely, didn't I? That's irritating. I personally don't like having the first curly bracket be on the same line as the name. Oh lord, what happened here? Well, I've really hacked my formatting. Ugh. Curse you, completely unknown unknown hotkey. God, what did you do there? Oh. There we go. Formatting is fairly important, because it makes it easier for you to actually navigate and do stuff. There we go. Just undo my own damage there, for the most part. There. Good enough. Right. So, first, we need to check if the entity has actually has the ability. Now, we found out before that there's a weird occasion wherein abilities will register as existing but not be retrievable. I still am not clear on how that's possible, but anyways. Okay, so we need if event.entity is a living entity, because only living entities can have abilities. Okay. So, let's see. Living data equals living data for entity. Living if data does not equal null. Actually, make it as this a little easier on us, so let's just return null if it does. Save us some brackets. Okay. So, if ability registry dot has ability living, we want registry name. Okay, ability size equals ability registry dot get ability by name living registry name again, because you only have one size ability. It'd be a very strange thing if you could stack different abilities in different sizes. I don't know why you would do that exactly. If you want, unless I guess maybe if you wanted like really extreme fine control of like how small or big you were, but but let me see. Currently, Colossal is 16F, which is to say 16 times larger than a player, so that would make a Minecraft giant 192 blocks tall. If you're curious there. Again, I don't know why you would do that. Big, yes, very big. Very big. For the moment, I'm gonna leave this available to be added to anything, not just players, but we might lock that down later, just because it can make things weird, suffice to say. But if you want to make a small Enderman who's half the size of a regular Enderman, I guess that's a thing you could do, just by giving it that ability. If size somehow equals null, return. Okay, doing it there because it's clearly stated in the event that this might happen too early for everything else to happen. Chickenzilla? How big are chickens? There's a thought. Let's find out, shall we? Chickens are 0.7 tall, so that'd be 0.7 times 16, which would be just over 11 blocks tall. Still, so basically, a colossal chicken is just shorter than a giant. Like the Ender Chicken in the Chicken Resource Pack. I guess, yeah. Exactly. Good question, Course Nova. Alright. So we need to change the new size according to the scaling of here. That should be straightforward. So, let's see. There's gets and there's sets. There we go. Set new height equal... Oh, that's the I height, my mistake. Hang on. Wrong thing. Set new size. Okay, so new entity size, or entity size dot fixed, I guess. I'm not sure. So, let's see if we want old size dot width times size dot size class dot scale. Or let's just store that. Entity size old size equals event dot there. Height times scale. Okay. I can already see potential room for where this goes wrong, because I'm not certain what value goes into that. Okay, so it starts off identical. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Right then. That is, I think, everything that we need to get this started. So, shall we test? Something else I would also like this to do is add in a little bit of variance, at least in the rendering, just so that creatures aren't exactly the same size, which is what they frequently are, because it's just how it works, essentially. I like more variance in my mobs, if I can. So, I don't know if we would base that on UUID, in which case, if you're on whatever server with the same players, then you're always the exact same relative heights. Or if we base it more on like your spawn time or something. In which case, in one particular playthrough with the same players, you could be like one of the shortest of the group, and whereas in the next one you might be one of the tallest. I don't know. I feel like people prefer consistency, so that might be based on UUID. But we could also just use this ability to modify it, just set it to medium, no problem, and then just add a variant for the rendering. Anyways, let's run it. Size is already in the registry, because we saw it when it was listed in the species screen for goblins and kobolds, which are both small creatures. Oh, we did not change the eye heights, of course. Old eye height times scale. There. Because otherwise, we would have the exact same eye height, but our bounding box would have changed. I think eye height might be clamped to like the max of your height, but who knows? Imagine looking outside of your body. Oh, is that a literal out-of-body experience? Is that a mind's eye moment? Have I just done something that was incredibly difficult in 1.12 in half an hour? Let's find out. If I can get this working, by the way, there's like maybe one more ability I want to make, which will take me 10 minutes, essentially. And then I'll be, like, putting out an actual new beta version, not just an alpha, a beta. So, you'll be able to play around with this pretty much instantly after stream. Okay. Goblin or kobold, what do we think? I feel like most people are going to vote for kobolds, but Sweden says kobold. Oh, here we go. I appear to be the same size. Just swap to that. F3 and B. And my bounding box appears to be unfazed. Possibly. Let's see. Small size is listed. Am I actually still 1.8? Yeah, that looks right. Okay, interesting. That? Do I seem mildly smaller there? I feel like my size went down when I lost the ability. Hang on. Add size. I think scale? Is that what it's called? Let's go tiny. Just check what is it stored as. It is, yeah, oh, it is size. Now that looks like that's not being called. Think you're the same? Yeah, looks like it. Okay, good. I still have work to do. Okay, so... next question is, when did this, like, when did this actually get called? Did it actually, like, get put up? It did not. That's why. What is the ability name? What is the function name? I can't remember now. Add listeners. That's the one. Is that not what I call it down here? No, add handler. That's why. Okay, that's why it wasn't working. Because it was never being called. The amount of noise that my neck just made is frankly terrifying. My neck just sounded like when a tree is like grabbed by one of those big pickups, essentially, those big claws, and just like wriggled until it releases itself from the earth. Oh, hello. Okay, so I'm still rendering the same height, which we knew would happen, but now, now I am Tiny Man. What I love about this is that because Sugar Cube is actually going to render, I think on me, so when we get the rendering going, Sugar Cube is going to be teeny tiny. Okay, I still have the trapdoor. I can't walk up the trapdoor because it's half my height. But okay. So we're currently tiny size, which isn't even the smallest we can go. So I'm just going to set this to fine. We are now even smaller. Yeah, there we go. It updates first when I actually like when I actually squat, because it's going by pose. So this is interesting. I can now actually walk over this. Huh, how odd. Couldn't before. So now I am the smallest I could possibly be. I am positively Lilliputian. I can go underneath the bed. Oh, this is beautiful. This is utterly gorgeous. I love it. Squatting just basically nothing. It just slows me down. Okay. We've got to do it, don't we? We've got to actually see what Colossal looks like. Where's Sugar Cube? If Sugar Cube is on me, I cannot see them. But I don't see them floating around, so I presume they are. So, okay. Y'all ready for this? The second I hit shift, it'll kick in. Oh, Lord. I have the same exact speed, so... Oh. Oh, lordy. So this is what it's like for my brother. You can see the width of the particles I am generating. Oh gods. Okay, yeah, there's Sugar Cube way down there. Leggy too short, cannot step over building. Okay. Well, we're on the right track. So we need to call the recalculate size when the thing gets added, otherwise you only find out that it's actually kicking in when you first shift or something. But that is a good start. That is a good start. Okay, so abilities, dev, clear. There we are. Back to regular me. But yeah, that's the current scaling that we're dealing with here. What is... Very funny that your jump and step heights are the same because your POV makes you feel like you absolutely should be able to step up the building. Oh yeah, absolutely. So the numbers that the system is running on right now are basically rote driven from the numbers in Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 edition, which is the baseline that I use for everything here. But let's see what the first step larger is, which is to say size large, for comparison. So it doesn't feel like very much, but also that's where my head is. Like, that... I'm already almost as tall as this building. Okay, no, it's still at large. There we go. That is huge. I'm trying to remember, what size are most giants? Like, a hill giant is the sort of quintessential one that we think of. Let's see, cloud giants are huge, fire giants are large, which doesn't seem quite right, but I guess. Frost giants are large, hill giants are large. So right now, I should be taller than almost every kind of giant. Doesn't quite seem right, does it? All you can think about right now is the biggest Sugar Cube. Yeah, Sugar Cube, like, lands on my shoulder, becomes, like, the size of a regular ghast, and then hops off and is suddenly downsized again. Oh boy. Anyways, we got this working, so that's a good sign. It's very strange. And small is already less than the height of a block. And that, to me, feels like that should be a much lower, like, rating. Like, that to me should be, like, at least tiny. So, I am going to be changing up the numbers, but here we go. Here's the start. Here's what we got. I guess that would mean that halflings would be, like, even smaller, but... What I can do is make it so that we can have medium size and then an internal value that, like, modifies, like, slightly adjusts the actual scaling from the size class. But, yeah, isn't this fun? My character right now is shorter than I am in real life. That almost never happens. In fact, let me see. Where would I come up to? I would come up to approximately here. I think. Right about there. So... this is like half a block shorter than me. Okay, next question I have is, what does this look like if we go into burrow mode? So if I add... okay, because when you go into burrow mode, you are automatically put into your sneaking kind of positions. So do... it's certainly weird, I'll give it that. Whoop. Sugar Cube, are you okay down there? Just gonna make sure you don't suffocate there. Yeah, be careful, I guess, going burrowing if you happen to have your ghastling friend on you. Okay, you can't sprint when you're in this mode, but yeah, that looks to be okay. Yeah, they are. They're fine. They're okay. Okay, let me just... okay. Good, good, good. So the scaling works perfectly, so far as I can tell. And conversely, yeah, that about makes sense. that definitely makes sense to me. And we can actually go even further because we still have a block that is... well, actually, we can go through that anyways. I'm thinking of incorporeality. But, whew! We probably need to change up a little bit how incorporeality and such works on the grounds of what's going on here, because I think I should never be able to go into here, but... nope, nope, there we go, good. I think that's actually working fine. Right. Back to small, please. I desire to be teeny. Okay, I will also desire to go and grab a snack, so I'll be back in about 10 minutes with some more work on this. Next up is the rendering section, which is going to be an experience. So I will see you all in about 10 minutes. So go grab yourselves a snack, a drink, grab your meds, go to the bathroom, whatever. I'm not your mom, but, you know, or a cop, as far as you know. So, be back then. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you had a nice little break there. We have successfully managed to make my hitbox and eye position, camera position, scale according to these values. But not so far our rendering, so even as a colossal titan of coding mastery, I nonetheless am rendered as itty bitty normal man. We're going to be changing that in the next bit here. But first I want to just make sure that we don't have to like shift or something to actually have our height actually begin. So we're just gonna have a private boolean in here. So size needs recalc equals will say true. And which another void here. So update size. It's occurred to me this will only work on application, but not removal. But so I probably need to have like an event for when something is first, when something is applied and when something's removed, that kind of thing. But for right now, this will do. Hopefully. So let's see, we know it's a living entity, that part's fine. Essentially, we're doing the rest here. So that should just make this call through. Yeah, good. Right. So now whenever we first boot in, as well as every time we alter the MBT data, it should recalculate the size and make sure it's right. So we won't have to shift the first time. Hopefully. My throat is getting rather sore at the moment, which is an unfortunate side effect of my meds. So, I might be a bit quieter this hour, and it might be a shorter stream. We'll see. Apologies if so. Okay, we don't need to store needs recalc in data, so that's fine. So, here we go. Let's see if that solves our application. And then we'll get to rendering. And I'm gonna open up some bugging. Because what is life without mostly accurate, mostly authentic Japanese snacks? Oh. So let's see, we are currently small. Let's change that to large, and if we've done this correctly, we should see it immediately shift. Perfect. So, okay, and again to say tiny. I may note this is an important step also to getting polymorph effects working, because we obviously need to change the size of your hitbox according to that. So, yay. Yay for that. And of course, the one that we all love. So tiny. So tiny. I feel like I should scale your movement speed as well, but canonically most things have a 30-foot movement speed, so it's not a huge deal. Oh, this is gonna be so entertaining. This is gonna be so entertaining and so ridiculous. There's our usual. There's our usual me. Okay. Yeah, I think if you get the ability removed from you, then we're gonna have to have some kind of event to actually trigger that, because otherwise you'll have to sneak for it to kick in, which is not the worst thing in the world, but you might wanna, you might not know that you need to do that, so. Okay, so, rendering. There's already a couple of creatures that we render at different sizes based on pre-render. So if we go to Gaslings, do you have one? Nope. But Kobolds definitely do. Hey Cam. Ooh, that's my Vandy's emotes. Nice. So here we have pre-render callback. And we use that to rescale mobs so that their model is their model is still the same detail level, but it is at a smaller rendered size. This is perfectly. This happens a bunch. Zombies, for instance, are the actual one-to-one size of the biped model, whereas players are slightly shorter. Little trivia for you there. So what we need to do is find out if there is if there is an event tied to that, which I don't know that there is. And secondly, oh no, there we go, render living event, there. Does take the matrix. Good, good. So, if we hook into that event, I think we'll be able to make this work, but I'm not 100% certain if the server will actually like that. But one way to find out, I guess. Actually, yeah, was about to say, how do we render incorporeal characters? Let's see. Is there a render in here somewhere? Living entity, entity render manager. Nope, that's just for light. World renderer. Render entity. Hey, ability phasing should have the thing I'm looking for here. Render block overlay. Nope. Collision shape. Weird. I could just. What now? Am I just doing? Is that literally just something inside of? Like. Where am I doing this exactly? I think I'm just doing it here. Not sure. True if the current render event is most likely being caused by incorporate. Ah, there we are. Okay. Yeah, there we go. That's how I did. That's how I do incorporeals. Okay. Render living event.pre. Okay, right. Well, we can do something very similar by just adding another one, basically. So resize entity, I guess we'd call this. So ability size equals ability registry dot get ability by name, the render targets, ability size dot registry name. If size equals null, skip. You don't have to worry about it then. And let's put this on the highest priority while we're at it. Okay. So, if it doesn't equal null, we can get the size, we can get the scaling from the ability. So, let's see, float scale equals size dot. Hang on, we don't have that action just yet. Okay. So event dot matrix stack scale doop doop doop. Okay. And don't care about the raw types, that's fine. Okay, that should already put it in. So heck willing, that should be literally everything. That should be all of it. That should now mean that we can be 100% a tiny man underneath the bed. That's a disturbing sentence, but nonetheless. Also, because we're not directly referencing the enum inside of the size ability, we can add variance to it. So you can be a medium-sized creature, but on the lower end of medium, for instance. Or a medium-sized creature on the upper end. Which actually would make you... can theoretically make it a bit inconvenient in places. Okay, Sugar Cube is on our shoulder, everybody. We ready for this?
Yeah.
We have tiny sugar cube. we have sugar granule. And my hitbox is apparently not quite up with the game, but we are. I think that's just the rendering. So here we are. A tiny man and his guest. Hey, Am. How you doing? Okay. We're not even the smallest we can be yet. We are now even tinier. we're like 4 pixels on the command block tall. And this is still not the smallest we can go. Like, I think right now we're a little bit taller than the edge of a than the edge of the trapdoor, right there. But oh no, there's another size category lower than this. Shifting doesn't even work at this size. We just cease to exist. There we are. Okay. We obviously have to do the opposite. We have to go in the other direction now. So, back to normal size. Here we are. So for reference, that's the normal size of sugar cube. We're gonna go up in steps just to make sure this works fine at all levels. So large. We're chunky. We're now the height of that building, essentially. Yep. So obviously I need to do some tweaking to make sure that the hitbox doesn't get warped like that, because that is much bigger than we actually are. Huge. The third-person camera is no longer actually, like, far enough away for us to really see very much. The bigger we get, the more we're just seeing our own face. Large Enderman sized? I think Enderman might actually be, if they're actually like not large size, they might be the top end of like human size. Let's see. Let's see, there. How tall is an Enderman? Is a little under 3 blocks, I think. Not sure. Let's see, their hitbox. Interesting. They're right, because their head goes up. I forgot that they did that. They're 3.25 blocks when they're angry. You ever see that thing in like a Ghibli movie when someone gets angry and their hair puffs out and they're like suddenly several inches larger? Okay, 2.9 blocks. A block is a meter cubed, therefore it's 2.9 meters tall. 2.9 meters in feet is about 9.5. So that would put them in the lower end of large. Currently we're using these values right dead in the middle. So yeah, they would be large sized. Lower end of large sized. But I'm also probably going to be modifying these numbers so they're not quite as ridiculous. But for right now, it's entertaining. Okay, so that's huge-sized sugar cube. Who I'm not even sure how big sugar cube is now. Feels like a lot. Feels pretty big. But we've still got like 2 more sizes to go up. Because after huge, there is gargantuan. And now F5 is basically useless to us. But oh no, we're still not at the absolute. We're not at the massive yet. If I can spell colossal for a hot second. There we go. Now our third-person camera is intermittently inside of us still. Oh lordy. So we are now, in fact, colossal sized. Oh boy. Okay, let's go right. Let's do the absolute biggest jump we can here. Whoa. The planet ran into me. 350 thumb? Oh yeah. There we go. Just a man and his animate drop of sugar just hanging out underneath the bed. Oh, I love this. I love this so much. But okay, so I'm not done just yet. Your block reach, by the way, is unmodified, which I probably will change. Not 100% certain. Let's go back to medium. Okay. Because now we want to add some finer details to this. So I'm going to need Excel a little bit. So let's see, category. That's why you should call them rather than class. Fine, dim, tiny, small, medium, large, huge, gargant, and colossal. So let's see, low and high, and mid equals that plus that minus that times 0.5. Sad you can't change emotes, so let's do this instead. Oh. Let's see. Whomstead of is gonna get hug? How about you? Because you're already in hug mode, I guess. Ooh, lordy, there goes my throat. My throat normally is quite gravelly. You've probably noticed that. So there's that combined with medication that makes your throat hurt is not grand. But oh well. Okay, so we're gonna measure this in feet, I guess, for the starts. And we have to have some value here, because we can't go to 0. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. We'll say 128, logically speaking. Okay, so that's how many feet this goes through. How many feet in a meter? It is 0.3. So, our upper limit for Colossal is just shy of 40 blocks in height. As I say, I'm going to be moving these, but what I want to do is give the actual enums here a range with a kind of like default mid value. So you can give it, you can just have it be dead of the middle, or you can actually like give it a value, in which case it'll be between the range. That's the idea. And now I need this to be in Steve's, essentially. Steve is 1.8 meters, so just multiply that by 1.8. Like, if we're assuming that Steve is there, if 6 is 1, then it's actually just 6 times that, I think. Am I correct? No, I'm wrong. It's 1... Oh, my brain's gone dead. Basically, this should be 1. Right there. So, that over 1.83, I guess, equals that over 1.83. I require a Steve measuring stick. So that over Steve, okay. Good. Alright. And let's make these actually slightly more readable. There. Okay. So there's our default value, and there's our lower end and our high end. So it can't hit 0, so we don't want to ever do that. If it hits 0, I think you just stop rendering. So, yeah. Let me do some concatenating here. Okay, equals that, and do, and that, and do, and that. Okay. If anyone ever tells you you're not a programmer because you use Microsoft Excel, this is literally how I started programming. Way back. It's for handy things like that. That's programming, right there. You typed in a formula and a thing came out. That's programming. Well, there probably needs to be some programmed minimum distance between these, because right now they can be identical, but it shouldn't be a huge problem. Change that to get size.getScale. There. What do I want to say? What do I call this? You always want to give your variables like meaningful names. scale doesn't make too much sense, I guess, but it'll work for right now. Let's actually get a function for this. There. Anyone's confused, that noise is in the music. Oh boy. That feels weirdly graduated, but as I say, I'll change the numbers, so that's kind of fine. Alright. So now we need to actually store that value. So that's the value between 0 and 1. I don't remember what the float MBT is. 5. Yeah, that was close. The 8 is strings. Okay, so now we can actually make dwarves and such. So dwarves are shorter than humans, but they're actually both the same size class. If we actually wanted to do that right now, we would have to give them a smaller size class, but now we actually have the capacity to do this. I should have that in here as well, because otherwise things could get very strange. There. Okay. So let's see, if medium is 1, and 1 is 6 feet, then, let's see, equals, I'll figure it out. Okay, so we have size and we have scale, which is our point along the range. So, let's see if we can make me, whilst still being a medium-sized creature, that correct? Did I name it that? Scale? Greater than or equal to that, then put it, yes, otherwise, do that, good. Yes, I get it. Yes, I made the clamping correct, good. Oh, I think it's because I don't have it down here. Yeah. Okay. Mild oversight on my part. I need to make this a bit different. Hang on. So let's see, size. There. So dwarves will have medium size, but they'll also have a scale, so it'll be slightly shorter than average. So let's see, a 0.5 would be more or less default mid-range. Theoretically, depending on how I fudge these numbers. So I think like 4 or 5 should be about my height, not sure. Ooh, yeah, I'm a bit taller than I think I should be. Let's see, 0.3F? Hey! Very close, very close. I think this is actually about my height. Just about. So, yay! Isn't that fun? I can now play as my actual height. This is about how tall this room would actually appear to me. Hang on, how tall is a torch compared to, like, my leg? Torches are, I think, slightly higher than my own legs. Oh, lordy. Okay, how tall can I get, though? If I set this to 1, this will be the absolute upper limit of medium size. So, I'm now a rugby player. And I have to crouch to get in here. Yeah, this is still human heights, alright. Ow. Ow. I'm okay. Just banged my head a little bit. I guess that's a thing I'll have to contemplate then. But technically speaking, despite the fact I'm now on the lowest point of large, I'm still a medium creature. Funky, that. So what if I'm at the highest point of small? That is this is the highest that small can go. Interesting that we stop crouching when we get close to the wall. I'm not sure exactly what's causing that. So that is the smallest that medium can get. Versus the highest. Ah, such diversity. But yeah, I'll be tweaking the numbers. But otherwise, look forward to some significant size variation in your species and such, as well as with templates. I don't think there are many templates that change size, but we can make those now. God, the fact that I actually have to sneak to get through the doorway. Actually, can I even fit? If there's a door here, can I even still fit? Let's find out. I'm genuinely curious. Because I feel like my hitbox is going to be wider than what's left of the door. Yeah. Wow, I actually can't fit. I'm gonna be at least the width of a cow in that regard then. Right, well, that's more or less everything I was hoping to get done today, and as I say, I'm... So, hope you've enjoyed. A little bit of short stream, but I feel like we're gonna have fun with this. I'll probably change the sizing so it tends towards Steve height closer, because right now it is just basically clop, whereas we want it to be more like that. So the outer ones are at their most extreme, but the closer you in, the more rapidly it gets to like human size. But yeah, God, this is good. This is gonna be so absurd. I'm gonna love it so much. So hang on, if we select, say, Goblin. Yeah, we're currently actually shorter than an actual goblin. So, hey Nip, how you doing? What up? Currently not my height. Yeah, I definitely need to. I need to change the values so that when you're actually, like, small, you should be the same size as a goblin or a kobold. Like, if I give that an actual value, let's see. So, add size, let's see, size, small, scale, 1F. Yeah. The tallest small-sized creature would still currently be smaller than a goblin. So goblins are technically medium-sized under this scaling. Itsy bitsy long. Oh, this isn't even the smallest I can go. This is one step below, like, normal player height. Nipty, would you like to see the smallest I can go? The absolute smallest that I can go. Here's the smallest I can go. Apparently. Oh, something's gotten hecked there. Possibly that's way too small. That could just be it. No? Okay, we have encountered a bug. Good to know. Why are we not shrinking? Because I feel like we should be shrinking now. Oh, it might have just not recognized there was a change in the cache. Not 100%. But that's fine. Okay. There we go. Ow. Okay. If we shrink, if we sneak, we now go under the world and start dying. But otherwise, this is the smallest I can go. I am smaller than a single pixel on the grass texture. Sugar Cube is now the size of an actual ghast relative to me. Oh lordy. I think maybe slightly more than a pixel in size here. Just, oh, that is the smallest I can go. What's mildly more entertaining is the tallest I can go. So let me just get some distance, I'm so small that the particles for me running are literally just a line. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Okay. Tallest I can go. Just before I go for the evening. Oop, ow, same problem, I think. Yeah, I haven't built in the comparator, so it doesn't know that these are different abilities. Here's the tallest I can go. So tall that F5 mode still shows my head. I'm so tall, I can't even see my own sprinting particles. Because I'm too far from the ground. This looks like something I made out of chisels and bits. Oh, this is so silly and yet so entertaining. And back down to normal. Better be... Oh, no, I think I'm... Clearly there's some bug here, because I can't approach that section now. Huh. Oh, I think there must be some kind of desig, because that is definitely not how I should be scaled right now. Oh well. Species. Select dev. Just remove it. Entire. Oh, yeah, we've definitely encountered some kind of bug, I think. Because I think our size hasn't been recalculated properly. So it still thinks we're colossal. Hmm. Oh, there we go. Much better. Ah, right. Yeah. My throat is giving out, I'm afraid, so I'll have to go. But I hope that was entertaining. Look forward to seeing that very soon, because I do want to get this pushed out the door and such for people to enjoy, and start having fun with. So, yeah, there'll be a beta version available on Curse in the near future, probably sometime this week. Otherwise, my next stream should be on Thursday with some more either Sea of Thieves or Among Us from the World of Madness crew. I guess crew is a bit more literal in the case of Sea of Thieves. Then we'll have some random games with patrons on Saturday, and I'll be back for more of this on Tuesday when we figure out probably what to do with the goblins and whatnot. Otherwise, hope you've enjoyed. Any videos I do are over at youtube.com/remembercomic, and everything I do is powered by you, including my boobs at this point because you help pay for my medication, over at patreon.com/lying. I'll catch you all later. Next time. Oh, to be a mouse underneath this. Oh, to be a mouse underneath the bed. Or just, oh, to be decked out and never right under the bed. Monster. Nice.